Hey everybody, I was with a couple photographers and I was showcasing them this image that I created that looks like this. And they said, cool landscape shot. Where did you take that? And I go, didn't take it. I never used the camera. No, it's not being a photo artist, because a photo artist is somebody who uses a camera and software to create their art and vision. And no, it is not AI. Then what is it and how do they create that? And why would I even do this? Are we ready for this? Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, this is dedicated to photography and as a photo artist pushing ourselves out creatively to think out of the box. All right, I was reminded, because I was going through some past photography work I did 10, 12, some of it was back to 15 years ago, and I came across some projects and I go, oh my goodness, I forgot about an exercise I was taught years ago to periodically do. And so what I'm going to do is share with you this image right here that I talked about here in the beginning, and that does not exist anywhere in the world. It looks like a landscape photography that I'm not, but it looks like I went out and took that landscape shot somewhere around the world. And I had photographers guessing, is that in Europe somewhere? That looks like it might be in Canada or something. And I go, no, it does not exist. And it's not AI. And it's not being like a photo artist, because a photo artist is somebody who uses a camera and software to create their art and vision. So I did not use any cameras at all on this. So what is it? How did I create that? So we're going to take a look at this. We're actually going to take a look at 3 different images. One we'll dissect in depth, and the other ones I'll go through real fast. But I want to talk about why you would even do what I just shared with you. And there's actually 2 major reasons. So if you hold on to the end, I'm going to talk about those 2 reasons and why you might choose to do something like this. And it doesn't have to be a landscape. It might be a still life or something else. Okay, so let's jump into Photoshop right now. And here is the image that I created. Well, not really. What I did was I actually took 4 individual stock images. And I'll share with you where you can get some stock images to try this. But this is one of the images, 1 out of 4. This is the other one right there. This is the other one. And this is the other one. So what I did was I took those 4 stock images to come up and create this, something that doesn't really exist anywhere in the world, but it looks pretty cool. Okay, so we'll talk about why to do this toward the end here, but let's take a look at how this was put together. So starting out here at the very bottom, I'm just going to show you that this was my starting point, and then this is one of the images there, and then I'm going to activate this image right here in layers so you can see that. So you can see the mask right here. So how I had cut that out like that. And then here's the other image that I used. And again, you could see that was cut out there. I'm turning the mask on and off. And there's one more right there. So you can see that that is the image there when I turn the mask off, but I cut it out and that's what I ended up with. Now, everything else you see in between are layers that are clipped to the image below. So like in this one right here, if I activate this, you can see that it's changing the hue and saturation a bit of one of the, well, actually it's the background right here, this image right here. Very subtle to see that. But you can see that the levels, I toned it down a bit, so I'm turning that on and off so you can see that. If we take a look at this side, on the left side, I went to hue and saturation. See, I dumbed that down so it's not as saturated. So it's sort of fitting in with the rock formations you see here. And then again, levels is just to brighten that up a bit. And then let's take a look at the other levels here, or other layers, I should say. So hue and saturation, this over here, again, was desaturated. And then levels is to adjust the contrast and lightness of that side. So all sort of comes together right there. Then I created right here, I created a visible stamp layer. You should know how to do that on a PC. It's Shift-Control-Alt-E. If you're on a Mac, it's Shift-Command-Option-E. And what I did was I threw this into Luminar Neo to apply an effect on that real fast and easy. You've seen me talk about and showcase Luminar Neo in the past, but I'm not going to open that up. And then the very last thing is put my signature there. So that's the finished product. So that's an example of, it looks like I went somewhere out in the world to photograph something really unique, but it's not. It's 4 stock images composited together. And then I'm going to talk about why we would do something like that. Now, let me show you a couple other ones, because I do this about every year. So I'll pick up a couple projects. And so these things sort of reminded me of things I did in the past. So this image right here, let's start out with that right there. And then I just was putting a color tone on it. I'm going to go through this real quick. The whole idea is that I'm using 100% stock images. And I'll share with you where you might want to get some free ones in a minute. And again, I'm just masking in some sharpness here in this one. And then this right there, I did a visible stamp layer, worked on that with a blending mode, multiply. So I'm just adding some drama and contrast there. Fixing the dress down here a little bit. You can see this if I do this on and off. And then this is just dropping in. There's a lot of layers here. I forgot how many, but putting the planet Saturn there, adjusting the color look up a little bit there with grading, and just working that with my signature. Last one to show you really fast. This was about 100 layers. Again, I started out with this, then I changed my mind and I used this image instead. And then I'm just going to go through there where I'm changing the color tones and stuff and adding different things. So I'm just going to highlight those because within these folders there's a whole bunch of layers. So you can just see that these are all 100% stock images to come up with this composite. So color grading there. And so let's talk about why I would do this. And there's 2 major reasons that are really, really important. And I have to remind myself to do this every year, at least a couple of these. And the main reason to do this is to exercise between the ears, and that's our brain, our creativity. What can I do with this stuff? Okay, it just exercises the brain. And then the other thing is you're exercising and practicing your editing skills in the software that you're using, like I'm using Photoshop. So it's just like somebody that is, really good at playing the violin or guitar, whatever, but then months go by and you've never touched that instrument. Well, you're not as sharp, and you got to pick up that instrument and practice to get back up to speed with that. It's the same thing here. I need to exercise my creativity by doing something like this, using my imagination with multiple images. And then the last thing is my editing skills, because I'm forcing myself to do things and I'm doing it over and over again. And again, it's bringing back those skills. So again, just a reminder, the 2 major reasons is creativity and your editing skills right there. Now, let me share with you that a lot of people forget about, and that is if you're subscribing to Adobe and you have Photoshop, with your subscription, you can get some free images from Adobe by going to Adobe Stock. There's actually a category for free. So let me go to that right now so we can see this. And the link there is just stock.adobe.com. And in the drop-down menu here, you'll see free, or you could just go free right there. It doesn't matter, it just sort of changes the interface a little bit, but we're under free. And so you go in there and say, I'm not typing landscape, and then there you go. And all of these are free. You can see the little tag there, free, right there. So all of these are free. And again, if you change, what you're searching for again, like this is landscape. Let me get rid of that. And let me go back to the search and say still life. And then you'll find a whole bunch of still life images that you can play with in practice, right? So these are totally free. It's worth it, in my opinion, to grab some of these things and use your imagination and creativity. Pick up a couple still lifes, 2 or 3. Start with just 2. And then when you get good at that, putting things together to create something new, try it with 3. And then when you get good with that, try it with 4 different images. Or again, landscape, whatever your genre of photography that you like to work with, go for it. So again, hopefully you're learning something here, because this is an exercise for you to, use Photoshop for processing, practicing that, and your imagination and creativity, working in layers with multiple images to come up with a finalized image. All right, hopefully, again, you learned something. If you liked the video, please like it, subscribe if you have not subscribed, hit the notification bell. Next time I upload a video, you'll get notified on that. All right, till next time, again, let's get some images, let's practice, let's make mistakes. Why? Because we learn from making mistakes. Until next time, see ya.